Obviously, every year, we'd love to get, my goal for this year was for us to have 20 doctors get out of the program. We've already hit that, and we'll probably be somewhere around 30 to 40 by the time the year is completely out. And, hopefully we get to a point where we're starting to get 100, 100 each year out the door. Like, we're doing more in our program than a lot of doc programs are doing at universities.
Welcome back to Goings on the Record. This episode, we're talking all things 2023
yes.
year in review recap. As business owners, what did we learn?
Yeah.
Because we learned a lot, and we want to share that with you.
Yeah, there's so much when you're doing business and trying to grow it and have all these things, competing interests. And so there definitely been some things a couple topics that I have on my phone that we want to touch on for this particular episode. The first one I do want to talk about this first is that lead generation.
Oh, wow.
Our whole strategy this year, I'd say this has been a year of retooling our lead generation strategy. So when I'm saying lead generation, like how do we get leads that want to become interested in our business and into our coaching program? And this has been a year of retooling things for sure.
Oh my God, for sure. We have gone through so many different steps to really refine and build out our lead gen strategies because they're so important. This actually, I would say 2023 is the year of refinement for us, if I had to define it.
Yes, it is. That's what made me title it, the year of refinement.
Year of refinement.
Sure. Because, if we think about it, when at the beginning of the year, we had been doing events as a way to generate leads for our business. And we had been doing it. It was successful in 2022, and it had started to be successful in 2021. So we kind of built on that. So again, when you're doing things like this, you want to just remain doing them, because if it's working, don't fix. There's no need to fix it. But this year, we just noticed a shift in terms of who was coming to the events, what their goals were, and it really drastically impacted our lead generation, because we just found that one thing we learned is that when you do things for free, you just get folks that want things for free. And
that's okay.
And it's okay. And you should provide a service, right? And support. There are certain things that you should do in your business, I think, for free to help people. I'm all with that. But when it's just only free, people have some type of expectation of like, oh, everything else will be, free as well, or low cost. And you start developing and getting those types of clients. And sometimes those are not your ideal clients, depending on your type of business.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So we kind of just sat down, and I remember... shout out to our director of marketing, Carrie. We have our meetings with her where we start just planning out messaging, marketing strategies, what we're doing, typically like on a quarterly basis. Yeah. And we're on Zoom, and we're starting to plan our next event. And I said, why are we doing this? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Like, why are we doing this?
Oh, yeah, it was a workship. It should be, yes.
I'm like, why are we doing this? Yeah. And they looked at me like, what do you mean? Like, haven't you been at the other meetings? And I'm like, why are we doing this? And I said, let's just go back and rewind the tape. And we just started talking about, what we'd experienced in the past. Yeah. And, that it was basically going to be a shot in the dark. And these kinds of things, like, we don't just put on anything. Like, we put a lot of time, effort, love into everything that we do. Yeah. Because we truly care about, want to help people. But it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort to put these things on. And it's like, are we doing this and getting something out of it on the other end? Is it giving us the desired result? Or is there another way for us to, impart our wisdom, help people without having to do this and not having to incur that kind of expense in terms of time, cost, etc.? Yeah. And so I said, I'm like, why are we doing this? And then I felt like really apologetic, because I felt like we're like going in this direction, and I felt like I literally leaned over into the driver's side and just like turned the steering wheel. Yeah. But I really do feel like, it was just like, let's get a little bit smarter. Let's just not run the play again. Yeah. We've run the play a couple times. Let's not run the play again. And that's when we kind of realized, this isn't really getting us the desired result as much as we want. Yeah. And so we really needed to think about our lead gen strategy, and was that a sustainable one? And we learned that it really wasn't. And so we kind of had to go back to the drawing board. For me, I'm such a visual person. Yeah. I'm a visual person, and I literally sat down on Microsoft PowerPoint.
Yeah, this PowerPoint joint. It was fire though. It was fire.
And I'm like, okay, this is our avatar. This is the person that we have the most success with, and the person that has the most success with us. And so here's what they look like demographically, where we found them, what their age was, where they are in their process, what kind of job they have.
Yeah.
I went back to the data, pulling reports, and we put it all together, and it's like, this is the person. How do we find this person? And I literally had the next slide. We find them here. We find them here. We find them here. We find them here. Okay, now how do we message to that person? We do it this way. We do it that way. We do it with this kind of ad. We do it with this kind of presentation. And we literally built out this whole plan to basically kind of replace what we were doing.
Yeah.
And so it really took us kind of getting a little bit uncomfortable with doing something different, abandoning something we had kind of been doing, and doing something just a little bit different. But it all boiled back down to our lead generation strategy. And so it really did kind of make us refine what we were doing.
Yeah, it took a lot to come to that. But I know for me, just think about the type of event we were running. I was teaching for maybe total between the 2 days, maybe 6 hours. It was a lot. And then we had a lead up of, I don't know, maybe a month or two of marketing. And we're doing a lot of promotion. It was a lot to do it. And so the fact that we were able to cut that out, I mean, I think it saved us all time, not just me as someone on the face, but all of us on the back end, all the tech, all the stuff y'all don't see that has to happen.
Parts, so many different moving parts. We literally had a shared to-do list.
Yeah.
And it was at least 50 things long. And even with those 50 things, it was sub-bullets of things that we had to check off so that we could have put on a successful event for folks. So
yeah, and it took, having the data, and then we actually went back and surveyed our clients that have been successful and really get it nailing down what was the psychology, what were they thinking before they joined the program, what pushed them to join, just so all that information now we can use in our marketing to really get at that ideal person now that we know what they really were thinking. Mm-hmm. And I think that was really helpful, or even insightful for me to see it. We know it because we talk to our clients, we see them every week. But just to really hear from folks who have now earned their doctorates to kind of tell us what they were thinking before they joined, what made them make the investment, all those things. It was very helpful. Just an example, we learned that, some of our folks had been scammed by other folks who said they were, quote, dissertation coaches in the market. That's something we have to overcome because I guess there's a lot of people out here just trying to take people's money. Oh, yeah. And I think us being consistent online would kind of help lower that fear. Yeah, but it was something we had to consider. I didn't think about that until we kept seeing it in our data.
Yeah. It's definitely been a year of refinement. Mm-hmm. It's been a year of getting more efficient, taking tasks that we ordinarily would manually do and streamlining it to just get even better, even sharper.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of that. We're big proponents of, automations and cutting out all the extra work when we can, but we were even able to double down on some of that even more this year to reclaim some more time to do the things that are going to help us grow even more. There have been a lot of, I think about last year, and it was just a year of just doing, do, hustle, do,
we were growing. We were just growing real fast.
Do. This year is kind of just like we're aging like fine wine.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of okay, how can we do this better but more efficient? There were a lot of conversations that we sat down and we had, and we're thinking about the psychology of things. Yeah. What are the people that we're working with? What are they going through mentally? What are they going through in their daily lives? How can we help them? How can we message them so that the message is heard and received?
Yeah.
Rather than, this is just our message, implement, do.
Yeah.
We're thinking more about those deeper things this year.
Yeah, and even getting refined on, because I think we're in a place of refinement, but also expansion in terms of now working at in a business, you can go kind of, if you have a client that you're working with, say a person, you can then go kind of what, I've heard this from Alex Ramosa, you can go upstream, right? And go to maybe the organization that the person works for. And that's more lucrative, but it takes longer to make the sale. Or you can go downstream and work, you can kind of figure out where you might want to position your business. And I think for us, we're noticing that, of course, working with our students, but we also want to work with the institutions that they attend, because I think it's a both and approach. But it's taken us time to refine and really build out what that looks like. And for us getting help in consulting, because we needed to understand, because that's a whole different market, and how do we do it in a way that makes sense but still continue to grow what's been helping us so far as a company.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that's, first thing is lead gen has been a piece. And I would always just say, get your data on the lead gen stuff. Where are they coming from? Why do they want to work with you? All those things. It's been really helpful for us.
Oh my gosh, really helpful. And so when I first came on board full time, we were doing things very, very manually.
Yeah.
The previous position that I come from, we're all about data analytics. And that data is just so valuable. And that's how we based a lot of our recommendations and consulting to our clients. And so when I first came on full time, we were doing a lot of things with manual, like Google Sheets, et cetera. And it's like, this is cool, but we are going to need some place, somewhere where we can input data and be able to draw down on it to make better business decisions.
Yeah.
And so I'm so glad that, not too long after I started, I went ahead and spearheaded a project to do like an RFP, get a CRM system that works for us and the kind of work that we do. And then, of course, populate that CRM system with our data. So coming to now, I'm so happy for all those hours I spent getting that off the ground, because now what we were able to do is run reports.
Yeah.
Use that data. Imagine if we hadn't had that.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have figured it out, because we always do.
For sure.
But it was just that much helpful.
Yeah, and again, when we first started, when they first came on, as we were building, for me, just hustling, it's like, let me get clients, the data, whatever. I got time for that. Even though I know as a researcher, right, I got a doctorate, I understand the importance of data and how to manipulate and leverage it. But when you're in that just grind, it's just like, I don't got time for that. But Renee was always like, let's get the data right so that we can understand what's happening, make better decisions. So, shout out to Renee, because
but not only that,
I wasn't moving fast on it.
I was thinking from a strategic perspective of actually more so.
Oh,
it was almost implied that, capture the data, you can use the data.
Yeah.
But also too, I mean, we've worked with so many students, and so just even from a person that's looking to do like market research,
we have
a wealth of data that we could provide, use, consult with.
Yeah.
For other people that are looking to get information just about doc students, of course, de-identified. But we have a wealth of data. We have all this information at our fingertips. Why not have it in a way where we can draw down and actually be able to use it? That was my perspective. And it's like, it's one of those things where you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
If you keep just saying, oh, okay, we'll do it, that day will never come. So you got to at least start somewhere. And it looks messy. It's kind of like how we talk to our client. It just looks messy at first.
Messy.
You got to be comfortable with that. It's definitely different, stages to this in terms of uploading the data and populating it and, making sure you have everything set up in the pipelines. But ultimately, it has come out to really be in our best favor.
Yeah. And so, data refinement there. I think another piece that we refined a lot of is better understanding the psychology of the client, of who we're trying to get. I think that was a big piece. Of course, we surveyed and did all that and got data, but I think some of that is around the psychology of the perfect client for us. Mm-hmm. And I think refining that as you're growing your business, I think is really important. I think it's a lesson that I've learned a lot. And it's helped me. Talking to more clients has helped me like get really good at and students will tell me it's like, Dr. Goins, you're in my head right now. And like, that's only because I've been able to hear, we've been, serving our clients and really understanding what they need and where they are, that we've been able to kind of get into the head of other folks that might want to work with us.
And it's been so important too, because as the person that does most of our, sales calls and consultations, now I'm able to have a very, very, very intentional and productive conversation with someone that has taken that first step to reach out for help. So rather than just kind of like speaking broadly, I can really kind of get at what their apprehensions may be, where their head is, where they are just in terms of motivation, etc., to really kind of meet them where they are and then just say, hey, this is how we can help you, this is how we will help you, has been extremely helpful. And then, of course, just tweaking and massaging, that message has been super important.
I always say at this point, like when I do the live episodes for Done Dissertation, Renee writes the scripts. Like she's talked to so many people on the sales call. She does all the writing. I just execute on the front end. So she knows the psychology. So does Carrie. So Carrie will write the captions, like, because she knows, she's been working with us for so long and hearing what clients are talking about, why they've been successful, what's the challenges. They both can just run the show now in terms of the understanding the psychology of the client. And I think for some of you all, if you have staff, or folks working and supporting you, I think it's helpful if they really understand the psyche of the client. And so that might be, I know for Renee, she comes and does all the office hour calls when we have our client calls each week. I know that probably is helpful too, to hear the types of questions that people are talking about.
Oh, it's a synergy. I mean, when I first came on full time, definitely, he's the face of the business. He's the man with the plan. He's got, the doctorate. I do not. But from behind the scenes perspective, operations, etc., I kind of felt like a little bit of fish out of water because I don't have a doctorate. I've never gone through that. And so it's just kind of like, okay, can I really even do this? And so going to like our meetings that we have with our clients and hearing what they're saying, again, getting into that psyche, talking with folks that on consultation calls, I've learned so much and been able to really kind of take what I'm learning and put that into the lives so that there's like a synergy there for sure.
And even she'll say, it might be something that she's like, I'm not sure how to answer this question. And then it would be like, well, what do you think I would say? And then she was like, you probably would say this. I'm like, you got it right. And so like, as you develop, your team can really understand that psyche part, that everybody can become salespeople for the company. It's really important.
I'm going to say this too, because I'm an overachiever. I want to be perfect in all things that I do, and I know that that's impossible. And so I remember when I first started my previous job, my boss, we would come out of a presentation I would lead, and I'd kind of be looking down, and he'd be like, what's wrong? You did great. I'm like, I could have done this better. I could have done this better. And I didn't know this answer, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you're never going to be perfect.
Nope.
You're never going to know 100% of things. I've been doing this 30 years, and I still don't know everything. You're never going to know everything. Same thing with this. I had to take that approach.
Yeah.
I'm never going to know everything. I'm never going to be perfect. But what I can do is listen, hear, and utilize that information in a way that makes it so that I'm having a meaningful conversation with folks on my consultations, etc. So I had to kind of get over that again and just know that even though I've not gone through the process myself, I can still be a helpful person and have those conversations. And it's getting to the point now where, I'm like, I didn't think I could answer that question, but actually, let me just put on my Dr. Goings hat. There's the answer.
I heard it enough times. And I think part of that too, a lesson there is like imperfect action is better than no action at all.
All day.
Because a lot of that's holding people up from doing what they need to do with their businesses, and just act. And I'll run a play. I don't care. I'm going to try it out. So even if it flops, I don't care. I'm thinking of one in particular. We were watching the Super Bowl, right? And so on Super Bowl Sunday, I got an email. Shout out to my D Woodard. He had sent this email out about a Super Bowl special he was running for one of his courses or something like that in the email. And it was clever. I said, you know what? I actually like this. I never thought about running a Super Bowl special. So literally, I'm sitting at the couch watching the Super Bowl. Yep. I put this text message together. I sent it out to our folks, and we made probably like 5 or 6 sales at the Super Bowl, during the Super Bowl, just by making an offer that I happened to see. I was like, this is clever. Let me try this out. You just never know. I think part of that is as you're refining, you have to try it out and just see how things go.
I was like, what are you doing?
Hey, man, you gotta make it work. Yeah, you can't be scared of no. I mean, the only thing they can do is say, I don't want that, or I don't. If you provided enough value, no one will be mad that you made them an offer. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, they've gotten in contact with you because they're interested in what you do and what you offer. So you have to make an offer. It's your duty as a business owner to make them an offer.
Exactly.
And you just have to find the right one for them. And yeah, so we learned a lot through understanding that psychology of our client, and then being willing to talk to them and really be in front of them. And I think one of the things we did as a strategy, I think it was helpful. It was almost like I don't know if it was a give back, if you will, but we were doing during the summer. We just knew our clients sometimes didn't have access to their professors. And so we said, what can we do to provide support to them? So I think it was in July, we did a whole series for the month where students can come in. We had certain topics that we focused our conversation on. But I think, assuming students got so much value out of that, I think it was a great time for them just to get insights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I remember we talk about business all the time.
Yeah.
And so I think we were like in the car driving,
Yeah.
it was a road trip or whatever. And we were just talking about like what are our peak seasons of activity and why. And, we realized that the summer, a lot of folks, maybe typically don't feel like they need to be focused on writing their dissertation because it's the summer. They're not in a semester typically. That's not everybody's reality. But and then, their chair, their committee members, faculty members, advisor, whoever, they're gone. And so they're hesitant to do any work because it's like, what if I do all this work and then
It's for nothing.
It's for nothing. I don't have any guidance. I don't have no one to bounce, questions off of. And so, we're like, okay, like what can we do to help support folks during that time period?
Yeah, for sure.
So
and it was very successful. Folks really, I think that one gave us a lot of just goodwill, if you will, in the community. I think that was helpful. So sometimes you got to do some of those things. And we did another one like that early this year on mental health in the dissertation process. So I had a former doc student of mine who's a licensed clinical social worker. It was a panel with her. Another colleague of mine that I write with, he's a licensed clinical social worker. And also my mother. My mother was actually on one of our events because she also is a licensed clinical social worker. So to bring it all together to just talk about how to help people. And what I didn't know, my mom had been getting clients who were earning their doctorates and realizing that it was like a mental health component. So we did a whole thing on that. We had like maybe over 160 people register for that.
Yeah.
It was really successful.
It definitely was a topic that I think is not discussed enough.
No, not at all.
And so I think it really did resonate with the community.
Yeah, so sometimes you got to think through. I think part of our goal was like, all right, how do we engage people to generate leads, but in a way that provides a lot of value, but might not be a direct, pitch. We didn't sell the program. We didn't do anything. That was just something that we wanted to offer for our folks because we just knew that people needed it.
But I think, too, a part of that is making sure that you continue to stay dialed into what your mission and your purpose is.
Yeah.
So like when we think about the mission of our business or the purpose of our program, it's not to make sales.
Yeah, sure.
It's to help folks get their doctorate so they can get to the other side and realize their career dreams.
And change their life.
And change others' lives, change the lives of folks in the communities they care about, and just basically make change to the world. I always think about the fact that I think you did like an office hours episode with someone who earned her doctorate and she did research on peanut allergies.
Yeah, shout out to Dr. Suber, Jada Suber.
Yeah.
She's at Harvard now as a postdoc.
Our daughter has nut allergies. So you think about if all the people that did a lot of that kind of research, if they got stuck at the dissertation and they were never able to go ahead, earn their doctorate and go and do all the things that you can do once you have that to expand that area of research, we might not be where we are and have the kind of interventions and medications for our daughter.
For sure.
And so that's ultimately what our goal and our mission is so that folks can be done and utilize these. I always tell folks, like, your research is needed. It's needed, period. We want everything to be able to see the light of day. So we got to get you, it's like a checkbox. We want to get you over that hurdle. That's our mission.
Yeah.
Our mission is not to necessarily make money. Our mission that's our core mission. And so, there's sometimes where we do free things. Why? It aligns with our mission.
Yeah, it's really important. We've learned to continue to do the mission, and the money and things will follow.
Yeah.
If you transform people's lives, people will pay you for that. You never have to worry about that part. And now it gets to a point where even when we did a free event like that, a professor happened to register for it and said, and they sent it to their student. And the student was like, I never knew a program like this existed. And again, we weren't trying to sell at that event. This person went to the event, actually ended up joining our coaching program. So like indirectly, it came back around just from that. So you just have to make sure, that you provide opportunities for people to be in your community and be with you. Because I think people, especially in the service-based industry, that's people-based, people want to see and talk and hear from the folks that they're going to work with. And so I think you want to give them as many opportunities as possible to do that.
Absolutely.
And then let me see what else I had here. I know there's one more thing I think I wanted to touch on for this.
It's a lot that happened this year.
I guess, really one of the last things too is like, what's the kind of next 3 to 5 year goals and aspiration? What are you thinking in terms of how will this look so people come back and see this and then we can say we did it?
So, this was the year of refinement, and I think we did a darn good job at it.
Yeah, for sure.
And so we're structuring things and putting things in place to, like you said, work upstream and start, working with the universities. We're getting a lot of faculty members and folks that are, at the university level reaching out to us and saying, hey, I want you to come and talk to my class. Hey, I want you to do this workshop. Hey, I have this student that has been struggling for a really long time. We are invested in this person and we need them to get help. Can you come in and help this person? Yep. Can they come into the Velocity program? And so we're starting to see a lot more of that. And so 3 to 5 years, of course, we'll always be working with our students that come and want to work with us individually. Yeah. But we're hoping to start to really partner with universities so that we can help even more students at one time.
Yeah.
And so we know that is a long game. There's lots of politics involved, lots of stamps of approval to get to the point where, you're actually in front of those students. And so we're putting all the different things that we need to do in place to be able to do those kinds of things. So 3 to 5 years, I'm hoping that we're working with 20 to 50 universities.
Yeah, I think so.
And some sort of a partnership capacity.
Yeah, I think definitely 20, 50 institutional members in our institutional membership program. That would be super great. And then have folks, continuously every year, would love to get, my goal for this year was for us to have 20 doctors get out of the program. We've already hit that. And we'll probably be somewhere around 30 to 40 by the time the year is completely out. And, hopefully we get to a point where we're starting to get 100, 100 each year out the door. Like we're doing more in our program than a lot of doc programs are doing at universities because we know what to do. We know what it looks like. And so we just want to continue to spread the word about what's going on. And yeah, I'm just looking for growth and expansion for us and looking forward to eventually bringing on, it'll get to a point where bring on more coaches and just see that this whole thing really blossom. I think this is going to be, helpful for us.
I always say, and this might sound corny, but I think about us and, I don't know, close to retirement age, like 60s or so. And I think about us having this like big event where in-person event where we have like all of our previous clients and people that we've helped.
Yeah, that'd be super dope.
And I just see us just being around all those people. That's like the end goal, like the flowers. Yeah. To see all the people that we've been able to help, get their doctorate and go on to do all these great things.
Yeah, that's going to be super. I think that we got to do something like that. So it might be an event in the next 3 to 5 years, something like that. I think we need to do it. We're at a point now, we got so many people that we need to bring everybody together. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and this is more to come. 2024 should be a great year for us. Continue to build, and if you're someone happen to watch, you work for a university, and you know that doc students need help. Like we love to partner with the university, so definitely shoot us a message, connect with us, and we love to see how we can help build your doc student population at your university and help them get through the process. Yep. But with that, I guess that's a wrap for Goings on the Record. Appreciate y'all. Happy 2024, and if you have any questions, let us know. Hit the like and subscribe button, and let's connect soon. Take care, y'all.
Thanks.